Wonderful place to coach basketball. You can be outsized and still compete. And I'm excited. I'm speechless. I'm excited for this team, obviously. So this is a tough day. Tough day. Girls' game's a tough one, and moving right into this one, this might be the hardest thing I've ever tried to transition into. Just proud of these guys. We were kind of shaky middle of the season. But, you know, had to make a tough decision with Isaiah just to not start him. And I told him, I said, if you'll just deal with me, I can deal with you, and I'll make an MVP out of it. He's been back-to-back MVPs coming off the bench. I think that's a story in itself, just knowing how resilient he is and allowing me to continue to coach him. But just proud for this school, proud for this boys program. We've talked all year about it's time to not just get here, it's time to win a game, and we won that first game the other day, and I was afraid that these guys was just happy and not ready to take another step. And we talked about, hey, there's nothing ever guaranteed you're ever going to get this opportunity again, so let's don't be good, let's try to be great and take a bigger step and get to the Final Four. And you can't win it till you get there. I know that, so we're there and we're happy.
How'd you weather the storm?
I don't know. I know that girls' loss affected me with the relationships that you have, and I think it affected these guys. Assistant coach told me when the game was looking like the girls were going to lose, our boys didn't have a good look on their face, and he had to reel them back into the locker room. Coach Ward, Kevin Ward, and he said I could tell it was affecting them. And I know they were disappointed for our girls, and what a testament of courage to step up. I mean, we're so small. We're all so kin to each other, and we know everything about each other. And just for them to have, for years, they've sat back and watched this girls program take this step, and they've been there excited the whole time and been a part of us the whole time. And for them to be able to handle that loss and handle the first quarter the way it just didn't, we weren't real smooth and real clean. Just a lot of fight in them. A lot of courage and a lot of fight to overcome that. And just proud for them. It says a lot about each one of these guys, and it says a lot about what else we can do. I mean, we've been talking the last 4 weeks that we can't face in practice what we're fixing to be faced with down the road. We've got to get better in games. That's where we're going to get better as our games, not necessarily practice right now. And I think that is exactly what has happened. I think we've gotten better in the area tournament. I think we've had to battle some tough games, and we've found a way, learn how to win. When a group that hasn't won, they've been a part of last year's bunch, and battling the Sacred Hearts for 6 years and playing them tough last year, I most definitely think give us all confidence that we can take a bigger step. And even though those seniors are gone, what those guys left, that foundation, and proving that we can compete with some bigger guys on a bigger scale, I think was a part of this. I think it was still a part of it.
Talk about that game within a game. They were really trying to pump it into their big guy right there. How did you go about attacking that?
Well, I don't know. We handled it real well. We hung on the best we could. We knew they're an inside team, different kind of Skyline team in the past. Usually they like to shoot. This year they're big, outmatched us, and we knew they was going to be pounding it in the paint, going to the bigs, and they did a great job. We just thought hopefully we could come up with enough help side steals and maybe get him to miss a couple of shots and take advantage of it. And that's kind of what happened in the last 3 minutes. We come up with a few plays, and he missed a couple, and we got I think got stepped in, got a big steal. Isaiah got a big steal, and I wanted to press them, but we're not a pressing team yet. We're taking steps. This program is not the kind that can come out and press, but I feel like we could if we had to. And I was about ready to pull the trigger and go with the press, but we sit back and just got a little bit more energy in our half-court defense and come up with just enough, George. Just enough, and that's all we was trying for. It was just a little bit of wiggle run. And I thought our guys closed it out pretty well. They missed one free throw down the stretch. But I thought we handled the ball well in the half-court end, and that we knew that was going to be their plan. We wanted to play fast, obviously, and we did in spurts, not as much as we'd like to, but We just got enough. That's all it took, just a little. That's what we were hunting for.
Seems like in that second quarter you started getting some transition buckets and made it where it wasn't a half-court game. Now talk about how important transition is to you guys, smaller than the other team.
You know, you once again, I'm gonna reference Sacred Heart. You learn, and you know they've played fast, and we know in those years we're never gonna have a big guy and match them. So we started working with this group when they were 5th, 6th, 7th graders on up-tempo type games. And then we start playing the plain views, trying to simulate a few things that they do. We're nowhere near as good as those guys, but we're just getting started. And that's the way we've got to do it. I mean, we're never going to be bigger than anybody. We can't do what Skyline's doing and punch it in the lane. We're going to have to be up-tempo. And I thought they did a great job with their length and their zone defense and slowing us down. And once again, I think we just got off to a really rough start. I thought, you know, they did a good job of slowing us down, but we were questioning ourselves a little bit in the first quarter. Once again, I think we got better today. I'm proud of that win, even though it was a low score and maybe a sloppy-looking game at times. I think this team got better today because of what we had to battle, things we had to solve. We had to solve that kind of zone stuff all year long, all year long.
Coach, when you finally hit some threes, what did that do as far as their defense and?
It made them start stretching out a little bit, and Weston got a couple, Dalton got a big layup in there, and it just got enough space to where we could drive. Isaiah had 2 big drives against it, and that wasn't there early. We had to knock down just enough to get them out, and that was what we had talked about. You know, we thought if we could hit a few, that was our game plan. We got to make shots. We're not scoring in the paint early on them. We want to knock down and then try to get something inside. It panned out pretty well for us.
Guys, coaches explain things. I mean, just talk about y'all trying to neutralize that size.
So Weston, you had the big guy too.
Just battle with them, be more physical. I knew, well, Coach said if we come out and be more physical, they might not like it. So we just come out and try to be more physical than them, to battle with them. Size really don't matter for real, be more physical sometimes.
To all 3 players, just can you talk about what it means for the boys program to take this step?
It's huge. It's a great step. It's a big step that Spring Boys hasn't taken in a long time. And just proud to be with some teammates that love the game and want to win.
Jose.
Like I said, it's a huge step. This is my last year, so it's a huge step for what's coming up. To get used to that environment. They better be back.
Isaiah, Coach was talking about your role off the bench. Can you just talk about that? You know, obviously listening to Coach, that'll work.
I mean, it was kind of a weird transition because I didn't really know, but I mean, I just dealt with it and took on the role, and everything worked out.
As Coach was talking about a little bit earlier, just being able to, following the girls' game, what happened during that, for you guys, just emotionally heading into this game, and following up what happened in the girls' game between Skyline and your girls, how did it feel just going to the next step and using that as motivation?
Yeah, we were, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was sad that the girls got beat, but since they got beat by Skyline, that kind of put a little fire up under me, like, they ain't finna beat our boys and girls. They kind of just made us go out there and play harder than they put out our girls.
It's kind of like we was playing for them.
Yeah, we was pretty much playing for them.
You know,
It wasn't going to get beat by Skyline 2 nights. I mean, at the same night, 2 times at the same night. So.
What's it mean to y'all to be playing for a championship?
Everything.
Best of one of the best feelings.
Cooking for a while, it looked like y'all were going to get beat by Skyline twice. What happened about 4 or 5 minutes into the first quarter that kind of got things going again?
Well, we had a game just like that earlier in the season at Harrison County against Central Carrollton, and we lost that one. Got beat with fundamental things that we shouldn't have done, like bad fundamentals, and I think we learned from that game and helped us weather the storm. stick to our training and get to the guys that can score.
Any more?
Ricky, can we,
Talk about girls.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know it hurts them, to not be playing back in Birmingham, but, they fought valuable there toward the end and made a game of it. Sorry about how hard they fought.
Yeah, I obviously we wanted to win bad. And we're hurt because we didn't. Hurt 6 great seniors. Unbelievable. All the girls that have graduated in the past have been, if they can make it to the end with me, they're special. I mean, I understand what they have to go through, but to have 6 to stick together and change and have such an effect on our program. I've never had a group do so much for our program, and they've most definitely made our program stronger. They've made us better. They've pushed the bar unbelievably high for the ones coming behind them. And I'm glad this group's the one that done that, because they have all paid such a price. Tried to tell them after the game, of course, they were hurting, but tried to tell them after the game, I know y'all are hurting, and this one loss is hurting bad right now, but how in the world can you ever doubt yourself and not believe that you're winners? And, that's all I'll ever think of them as, is nothing but winners and what they have, done for our program. Got to talk about AJ and Peyton being starters as an 8th grader, being in 4 straight state championship games. They got 2 state championship rings and 2 runner-up. And I mean, what they have done and what they was willing to take on as youngsters and help those people. They helped those people in front of them win some state championships and played their part unbelievably throughout everybody else's career that was in front of them. And then now, when it was their time to be a senior, it almost feels a little unfair to them, but it's just life. It's something we got to deal with, something they got to deal with. And once, this sinks in 2 or 3 days, they'll realize, I won't do nothing but love on them, take care of them, and tell them how much I appreciate them. But blessed to have coached such a wonderful group. For anybody to replace that group, I just, it'd be amazing for me to have another group come through like that can do so much for our program. I just hope that, they realize and understand what they have accomplished in their careers.
Ricky, looking back, do you think the girls playing at Hubbard in the semifinals and winning made them lose focus?
No, Joe, I don't, because I think it was a game they wanted to win, but there was no talk about that game. There was no talk about that redemption. That was over last year, Joe. When we won that state championship last year, we felt that redemption. I mean, I never once felt that those girls, I don't even know if they knew R.A. Hubbard was in the chase until right at the very end. I said, we're playing R.A. Hubbard, and because I didn't want them. I just don't think they looked at it that way. We knew coming in here, Joe, that this was going to be one of the toughest regions that we've ever had to go through on the girls, based on what we had and what everybody else had. We knew it was going to be tough, and I was just proud of how much coming down here and and fighting, and believing they could win again. And so I just think Skyline was better than us. A little bit quicker, shot the ball well. We had a hard time defending them. couldn't stay in front of them. And I mean, if you tip your hat to a team that's just better than you and outplayed you, what up? You know, there's nothing you say about that because we just got outplayed. And I was afraid that they were able to do that.
That's where it seemed like she was the game changer for them. She had a little stretch there at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, to stretch things out.
Oh yeah, she's become their best player, most effective player as of late. Level's good, and she's always given us, you know, problems because we've had to guard her so hard. But Usher really stepped up and did an outstanding job. I mean, yeah, best player on the court today by far, best player on the court. You got to have a player like her to win the state championship. She's good enough to help them win it. Level's good enough to help her, and then the other ones do just enough. But you got to have one like her, and she can do a lot for them.